Hello guys, welcome back. This is Rob, and today you're looking at something totally new, something totally different. I have been, for the past 2.5 weeks roughly, been moving over to a new system, a new MacBook Pro, and it's been quite an ordeal. It also required basically tearing the guts out of my studio, taking the old Mac Pro cheesy grater out and all of the associated cables, wires, adapters, moving it over to where there was another computer that had cables and wires and adapters. Moving one into the closet, one is in my spare bedroom right now. And yeah, it was quite an ordeal. I had a method that I used. I basically took screenshots of all of my plugins, whether they be virtual instruments or effects, and just went down the list and installed and authorized every one of them. Now, there were some that I lost, and some of it was because they have just been discontinued for years, like Virtual Guitarist, some of the old IK Multimedia packages. They've long since upgraded to, what is it, Sample Tank 2 or 3 or whatever it is. I mean, who needs that many sample libraries to begin with? I decided that I don't. I've got Omnisphere 2 now. I upgraded to that. I bought a couple SSDs, running them just USB. They will read, I think they will read at almost 500 megabits per second. I can't even remember what the write speed is, but it's just way more than I will ever need, unless I get into like 8K or 6K and what have you. The Mac Pro that I got is, or the MacBook Pro that I got is 8 cores. It's got the top graphics card. It's got 2 terabytes of internal storage and 32 gigs of RAM. And I called Spectrasonics, and when I did the install of Omnisphere, and they said, just put it on the system drive. That's what we recommend. And I was quite surprised, but that's what I did. I put all my native instruments libraries on a Samsung T5 external SSD. Then I have my project drive, which is another external T5 external SSD, 500 gigs. That's for all my, where I'm going to store all my files. Then I guess if I get into any video editing of any consequence, then I'll get me a Thunderbolt drive. But right now they're like $700 or $500 to $700. So I'll pass on that. I may just get another T5. So anyways, my setup is I have a hyperdrive dongle that has HDMI out to my existing monitor. Then it's got a Thunderbolt 3 out. But it's USB 3 too, and I have one of my USB 3 drives connected to that. Then the other USB 3 port is to the other T5 hard drive. Then I just used my old Motu 4 Pre audio interface, and some of the things that I lost are Universal Audio plugs, UAD. And so I'm thinking, okay, all they are is plugins. It's not like they're instruments, and I have many, many other plugins that will do the same thing as UAD will do. They insist on forcing me to buy their hardware to run their plugins, which means that I would buy a new audio interface that I wouldn't need just to run their plugins. So I said, nope, goodbye Universal Audio, goodbye UAD. You guys need to get with the program. Then I also lost Plugin Alliance, a lot of my plugins, the old Brainworks, the big EQ, mastering EQ. I don't even know what it's called because I don't use it anymore because of FabFilter. Their EQs, they do the same thing. And a lot of the new Waves, Abbey Road stuff, just really kicks ass. So, and then I lost McDSP, they wanted another $60 to upgrade to their latest version that will run on Catalina. And I said, well, what am I gaining by doing that? And it was nothing, no extra functionality, maybe just a few artist presets. And I said, pass. So, and then the Plugin Alliance, they have a very attractive lineup, a subscription model, and I could go with that and get some of their very great plugins just so that I can get back my SPL Transient Designer and my SPL Full Ranger. But there's other plugins that I bought, like from Synopsys that I bought like almost 8 years ago, and they're still all authorized on Catalina. They've kept up to date. So has Rob Papin. I have or Poppin, however you pronounce his name, the Albino. Some people call it Albino. They have a current version of Albino that runs on Catalina. So some companies keep up, some companies just leave you hanging. So I have just about everything on here. I did have some problems, and I'll show you here in a second. And I've just been kind of playing around. One of the things that I've just started playing around in Logic. I spent a little time on my current projects, and there were some plugins in those that were no longer authorized, but I had current versions, like Slate Digital. And so one of the things that I like about this new Logic 10.5, excuse me, is this drum synth. It's kind of cool. I've got this sent to a sausage fattener here to add a little grit without getting rid of the transient. And yeah, so I just kind of played around with Apple loops here, and this is Apple Alchemy. Actually, Logic's Alchemy. Actually, there are some of the old patches from the old Alchemy in here, which is kind of nice if you kind of dig through it. And also, their fat effects will ask you if you want fat effects to take over what you had with camel fat, or what's the other one? Well, I can't even remember now. But yeah, so you'll gain some of the functionality if you own Logic. You have to own Logic. Like this right here. This is an Apple loop. I've got, I don't know how many, like thousands, 15,000 Apple loops. I don't even know. I forgot, but it's just so many. Okay, and so here's another project here that I wanted to show you. Here is all the Plugin Alliance plugins that are no longer coming up. I went kind of Plugin Alliance crazy on this project. And this is basically the Transient Designer, some Transient Designers, and the Full Ranger EQ. And I have other plugins that can take the place of those. And the project sounds alright if you play it back, So that kind of makes me question whether I even needed those EQs. Maybe I was mixing with tired ears. But I'm going to go back and see if I can enhance and kind of do a little mix run through on this later. But anyhow, that's been kind of the journey. And I've got a 10-port USB hub that comes out of one of the USB hyperdrive ports that handle my dongles and handle some of the older backup style drives. And you're dealing with so much bandwidth. I mean, this computer is just it's blazingly fast. I can solo some of the group channels and play every instrument in the group without getting a CPU spike and without any latency, which is really quite remarkable if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm pretty happy, and we will see you on the next video. Gonna cut this one short now, and if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to keep up to date with what's going on my channel. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.